Welcome to my channel Code Seekers. In today's video, we are going to learn how to use Google APIs with Python. And for this purpose, the example API we are going to use is Google Custom Search API. This video is made for beginners, so we will start with what are APIs, then we will learn what is the purpose of using the APIs, then we will have introduction to Google APIs and the introduction of the API that we are going to use in this video. And then we will get the API key to use Custom Search Engine API. Then we will be getting search engine ID that is also required to use this API with coding in our projects. So at the end, we will be writing Python code to use that API. APIs stand for Application Programming Interfaces, and they act like bridges that let different computer programs talk to each other and share information. They help apps and services work together, sort of like how you might ask a friend for help with something specific. APIs make it possible for a developer to use the features of one program in another, which saves time and makes things work smoothly. They're the reason why apps on your phone can share data, and they make a lot of cool things happen on the internet. APIs are like bridges between software programs. They allow different apps and services to work together, share information, and use each other's features. If you have ever used InDrive app or Foodpanda, you will have noticed that they have the integration of maps in them. So they are using the map APIs to use the map functionality in their program. There are many apps which use weather API or currency converter APIs to give us information about the real-time pricing and much more. So they are using other APIs for to extend the functionality of their own projects. So APIs help us get the real-time data and increase efficiency by using existing functions. Now you must be using a lot of Google apps in your day-to-day life, which includes Google Chrome, YouTube, Google Maps, Gmail, Google Documents, Google Sheets, Google Forms, and Drive, and much more. So Google have a lot of service apps which makes our day-to-day life easy. So it has a platform which is called Google Cloud, through which we can access all the Google apps as a developer. Google APIs are like superpower for developers. They are a set of tools that let you tap into the magic of Google services and add their capabilities to your own project. Think of them as a treasure trove of functions and data that you can use to create awesome applications. The API that we are going to use in this project is Custom Search JSON API. This API lets us use Google search engine in our own projects. Think of it like adding Google search to your apps. Like whenever we are using Google, we just pass our query and it returns us a lot of results in this form. So having this functionality integrated in your projects is something that we are going to learn in this project, and this API lets us do this. Okay, so the API returns all this data to us in the JSON form. We'll pass the query and we'll get all the data, all these links with their description, and this like how much results are found in nanoseconds and much more. So now let's get started with using this. For using search engine API, we need an API key and search engine ID. For that purpose, first of all, we will be getting our API key. For getting the API key, we need to go to console.cloud.google.com. This is the platform through which we have access to all the Google Service APIs. We can create the project and add them in our project and get the API key very easily. So let's start it. Open the link and you will be redirected to this page. Either you will be redirected to this page or you will be asked to sign into Google account first. Okay. So when you are redirected to this page, our first task is to create a new project. Click on this and go to new project and give name to your project. I'm going to name it my search engine. Click on create and it will take a few seconds and the project will be created, and you can see that it's loading. Once the project is created, click on select project, and now you can see that my search engine project is selected here. Click on dashboard, and here you have to search Custom Search API. You can find it in the marketplace section, Custom Search API. Click on this and you will be redirected to this page, which is the homepage of Custom Search API. It has details about what's the purpose of this API, what is the pricing for using this API, and links to documentation. Now we have concern with the pricing. All the Google APIs come with the free quota as well as the paid plans. So the free plan in for this API is it allows 100 queries per day, and each query returns us maximum of 10 links. So we can get 1000 links per day. Okay. So the free plan is more than enough for us now. For now. Okay. So let's see the documentation. Try this API and also enable this. We will be referring to API for some other things. That's why I have opened this link. Once the API is enabled, go to credentials and click on create credentials and then API key. It will create the API key for you that you can use in your project by accessing this API. The API key is created. I'm going to copy this and save it in the notepad file so that I could easily access this later. Now that we have got the API key, now our next step is getting the search engine ID. Now for that purpose, let's refer to the documentation. Actually, the API we are using is related to search engine. So for that purpose, we need search engine ID. And for getting the search engine ID, we need to go to the programmable search engine dashboard. The link of that is given in the description of this video, as well as you can go to the link through the official documentation. All the helpful links are given in description. Okay, we have to create our new search engine here. The search engine that we create here, we can access that in our projects, like on our web-based projects, just by giving the JavaScript code. Okay, so name this search engine as my search engine. Select the entire web, and then I'm not robot. We can set the settings if we want to enable image search or safe search in our project. For now, I'm going to ignore those options. Okay, as I told you, we can use this uh, project to create a new search engine that we can embed in our web-based projects as well. So here is the JavaScript that we have used. However, for now, we will be simply dealing it with the simple Python. Okay. For that, let's click on the customize, and you will be redirected to this page where we have search ID. Click on this to copy it and save it as well. Now we have got both API key and search engine ID. So now our next task is to write the Python code. For that purpose, I am going to use Jupyter Notebook. And now let's start writing the code. The only library we need to get access to this API is request library. So I'm importing it. If you get error on this line, you can install this library using this command. Okay, run this to verify it's working. Okay, now for every API access, we have a URL. Okay, so for accessing this API, the base URL is so there is a base URL. Then we have to pass three parameters: our key, then CX. CX means search engine ID. Okay. Then we have query. Q is actually the query that we will pass. So this is the syntax of the URL. Okay. Now we don't know what is the base URL. For that, we will again refer to the documentation. Here, okay. Here is the documentation. If I scroll down and here, try this API. Here is the demo interface to use this API. We only need the base URL. So this is the base URL actually. Let me close this window, and we can also get the base URL here. And there are different parameters mentioned here that we can use to deal with this API. However, the basic ones are these three that we are going to use in this project. So this is our base URL. Base URL. So I'm going to save it in a variable. Then we need the key, API key. I have already got that and saved it in the notepad. I'm just going to paste it there. Then we need CX means search engine ID. We have also got that. And then query. Query is something that we will be taking as input from user. So enter your query. Now after that, we have to make our actual URL whose syntax I told you here. So I'm just going to copy this and paste it here. Now for base URL, then we have key is API key, CX is CX, and query is query. So this is my URL which is ready now. Let's print the URL, and then we will open the URL to see how it works and what it returns us. Python course. So this is the URL. Let me paste it here. And you can see it returned us all the data in JSON form. If I observe this and try to understand it, I will come to know that we are getting all the results like the title of our search, then how much total results we found, then the search term that we used, count, starting index. Starting index is referred to as the starting index of this page and then the starting index of the next page. We will be getting the information of next page in each query or request we pass. Okay, so using the starting index parameter, we can get the values of next pages. So let's ignore the rest of things and move to the items section, which is actually a list, and each item in the list is a dictionary. This each object of item includes information of one link, okay, one website that we got based on our query. It includes meta tags information, link, title, meta description, cache, and much more information about the website. Okay, and we have about 10 objects in this items list. What we will be doing in this code is we will be getting only links. Okay, so each link in the items. All this JSON data has items, and inside items we have a link. Okay, so this is something we need for now. So we will be writing code for that. We will use request library, call the get function, pass it the URL, and see what it returns. It returns the response 200, which means we are getting some data. Okay, saving it in a response variable, and if response dot status code is 200, then we will proceed with getting the items. If the response code is not 200, it means there is some problem in our URL request or API request. So we might be getting error 404 or 503 if they are having an issue on server and or any other error. Okay, so we have to verify that the status code is 200. If the status code is 200, we need to get all the response as JSON form. Okay, and after that we have to parse the data. So for each item in data of items, we need to get item of link. Now let's run this, and you can see we got all the links. Now if we need the title, we can just place it with the title and then run again. And you can see we got the titles of website as well. If we need meta tags or something else, we can just observe this and see how we can get the meta tags information. Okay, now let's move try to see how we can get the next page items. Okay, so for that we can simply pass here and next start index, sorry, and start index is 11 .NET course. This gave us the information of second page. Okay, so that's how the things work. That's how we can access this API and get the links, and later we can parse through each thing to get different information, create our own data sets, embed the search engine capability in our own projects as well. If you want to learn about uses of different APIs like weather API or currency APIs, you can subscribe my channel and check my Python playlist. For that, thank you.